What makes me happy about my home is the fact that it kind of, I suppose, showcases our life together as a family. And it's a kind of collection of objects that I treasure. And I think whenever I look around the house, I feel like loved. I feel like this is a reflection of my house, and it just makes me happy. My name's Janice, and I'm a designer for film and television. I've lived in this house for about 13 years, and I've probably been designing for film and television for about 30. I live in Crystal Palace, which is southeast London, probably about 5 miles to the centre really of London. And I love living here. It's just incredibly diverse, and loads of bric-a-brac shops, which I particularly love, lots of antique shops, and a great park, which is great for the dog. Well, this house was built in 1964, and it's really kind of typical, I think, of the 60s architecture, where they were building terraced houses, 3-storied. So it's known as a 3-storied townhouse house circa 1964. When you open the front door, obviously, that's first impressions, isn't it? It's just like, wow, you know, this has got to be a nice, warm, inviting, light space. The kind of living room, dining room, stroke kitchen area is an area that we just love because, again, we can sit here and look out into the garden, which is just extraordinary for us. And I've always had a dream about owning a log cabin or a wooden cabin of some kind. So my closest I could get is by choosing some wood print wallpaper on the wall, which makes me feel that it's cosy and that I am eventually in that cabin of my dreams. We had a glass table, which I felt was very important because I didn't want big clunky furniture here. The glass beautifully reflects the birds and the shadows from the trees and the moving leaves on the glass, and that's just quite magical for me. The kitchen was formerly the garage, so we actually did design that. But when I say we designed it, I just had an opportunity to acquire a second-hand kitchen from a friend actually, and we looked at it and we thought the garage space was a bit dark, so this kitchen was great because it was cream, reflective, light, and still looked pretty stylish and retro. So it had the right vibe for the house. It came in parts, my husband assembled it, and now I really like it. It's bright, it's functional, and we chose the wooden tops so it kind of matched in with the wooden floors, and it's small, but I think it's just ideal. And where we are now, the dining room, was the old kitchen. And there's something I really loved about the old kitchen, and that was the green paper cutout print tiles. I knew there was something quite magical about these tiles. So I carefully removed every single one and repurposed them for our new kitchen. And I think they just look fabulous then. They had the real embodiment of the 60s. And strangely, only about a year or two ago, I was looking on an antiques guide and I saw that these tiles are actually Peggy Angus tiles, who was a fantastic creative woman in the 1950s post-war. She did textile printing and she did ceramics as well. And here we have a Peggy Angus tiled kitchen and fitted beautifully, and I'm so glad that her spirit lives on, Peggy Angus, in our house. The garden's really long actually, it's about 100 feet long, and it was very long, thin, narrow, and that was a bit of a challenge because it really just had a runway of grass. So we broke it up with beds, and we called them shark's teeth. And one came in from the right and the other came in from the left. So it forced a kind of meandering to occur to get down to the bottom, and it really kind of created width as well. I just love the garden, being in it, because I think it gives me a real feeling of well-being really. Just being out there with nature And we spend all of our time, all of our money. We've run out of money for the house, but we've always got money for the plants. We often have parties out there where we put up all the bunting in the trees. Just a space that I think family, friends really enjoy, and I love that aspect of it. It's great, it's magical. And barbecues. Every room has a designated kind of purpose, but really when I do my work I should be in my study, but that's northern light and I feel a bit cast away up there. And then later on in the afternoon I will trot upstairs to the lounge where it's so warm, so cosy, because it's captivated that kind of sun really. And I'll often doze off or just read my book and until the sun disappears about 5-6 o'clock, and yeah, that's bliss. The master bedroom was a bit of a challenge really, because we lived in a big old Victorian house in Hastings, and then we moved here, which was like half the size. So we had these rather kind of gargantuan bits of furniture that I thought, is this really going to be a struggle fitting in this room? But oddly, it all fits. It looks quite grand, and it just kind of, there's something quite curated about the bedroom. We have lots of little trinkets of my daughter's childhood and my husband's family as well, and my family, and photographs, and it feels like we've got lots of bits and pieces around us that make us feel very warm and aware of our ancestry and who we are. And I wanted it to be quite a dark, walled space to show up these little objects, really. So yeah, it just feels very bohemian up there, I think. Yeah, I like that. My daughter was only 11 or 10 when we first moved in, so there's been a couple of makeovers on that. There was actually a loo there that we broke down to integrate into her room to make it bigger and give her the study space. I haven't really had much to do with the decor of that space, because intentionally it's her room, her creativity. But I think it's cosy. I think it does allude and join in with the rest of the house colour-wise, which of course I'm pleased about. And more importantly, it works for her, and I think she's really happy there. Now that really was a genuine 1964 bathroom. It was an avocado suite. So very green and neat little tiles, but I don't think we could go that truthfully into the 1960s for me, so we did rip it all out. Now it's a mixture of very kind of antique and modern, really. My husband had an old 1940s bath stand, wash stand rather, with some beautiful pink tiles, and that dictated a lot of the vibe in the bathroom. We bored a hole in the marble, which was quite something, and we sat our sink in it. And now it's just kind of the perfect object to have in there, and dominated the kind of towels colour scheme and the tiles, and yeah, it's a bit also influenced by the Alhambra, I think. We'd just come back from a holiday and we thought, let's have a little piece of the Alhambra in our house. But I think probably the one that my hand is on here is probably, and the one I'm sitting on, they're probably my favourite. They're cantilever chairs. They're kind of from probably the 50s, and my husband used to work at the London Transport Museum, and somebody bought him some rolls of fabric from the District line, I think it is, and we thought, let's cover them. So a friend of ours very kindly covered these cantilever chairs, and I think they just look fantastic. They're so hard wearing, and I just love the colours, and coincidentally very kind of 1960s colours as well. So yeah, we've dragged them from Hastings to here, but I think they find their rightful home here. Yeah.
Could you tell us something surprising about yourself?
Surprising, I can play the guitar and the flute, and I've got quite a good voice. I think that's it.